Hi everybody, Adam Steele here, and today we're talking about the God particle. You know, the thing that helps define physics and quarks and all that kind of stuff. No, not really. We're talking about the God particle plugin, which is a whole new super cool kind of like multi-band compressor saturator kind of thing. So let's dive into that right now. This video was made possible by the guys at Produce Like a Pro. There is a giveaway going on in the description. Check that out right now. The God particle, the Higgs Boson and all that stuff. This is actually a plugin made for Jaycen Joshua, 15-time Grammy winner, which is ridiculous. That is just that's the most ridiculous number of Grammys I've ever heard of. Has commissioned the company Cradle, who I believe are kind of tangentially related to GGD, but not quite. Have made this plugin, and it seems to be replacing everything on my mix bus. If you can see in the corner here, there's this kilohertz tape stop, which does this really cool thing, which has to be on the master bus just because that's doing that effect. But otherwise, these three plugins, I've got the Shadow Hills Class A, Black Box HG2, and Submissions Flatline. They've all been turned off because the God Particle's doing a great job, and it's entirely possible I might actually stick with this as my kind of master bus processing thing. If anything, it's made me rethink a lot of my kind of mix steps. Firstly, I'm just going to quickly play you this. This is my new version of the theme song, everybody. Finally finished. Yes, there we go. Sounds huge. I'm not going to play it a million times because you'll hear it a few times already. Sorry about that. It's only short, which means that it's not like a 4-minute song to work with. But let's take the limiter off because this is 3 stages. It's got an EQ, which is kind of a corrective EQ for if you want to push a little bit more or less of something from your mix into the God particle section. And then there is a limiter. And that's about it. There's a lot apparently that happens under the hood, and there's no advanced button. There's no way of kind of bringing that out. There is an option to have an external sidechain for some sort of compression, which I'm not currently doing, but that's something that I might experiment with in the future. I'm not sure how the creators were intending that to be used, but it's there. And there are these little kind of green horseshoes, and if I just hit play, you can see that when the input or the EQs are in the ideal range, those light up. And so it seems like overall I'm not putting as much high frequency information into this as someone who works in, I don't know, modern hip hop might. They might really push high end, but in rock we don't tend to do that quite so much. So you can see that I'm just about on the low cusp of the mids there, and the lows are about right. I ended up going back to change the way my kick drum was structured a little bit, because the kick drum originally had quite a lot of sub information in, and so instead I shelved off and added some 100 hertz and got rid of stuff below 40. And with the bass as well, which is over here somewhere, I had double tap on here, which wasn't on there originally, which is kind of beefing up the low end. And then I've got 3 sets of guitars over here, which kind of felt quite stuffy in the mids, and then I did a little bit more EQ work based around what the God particle was doing. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to play this little thing, and I'm going to turn the God particle on and off with it at 100% because it can go all the way up to 200 or all the way back down to nothing. So you can really hear there that those guitars are coming up on the side. So there's possibly some sort of stereo widening, definitely multi-band compression. There's other stuff, some sort of saturation going on in there as well, but none of it is overdone, which is one of the things that I think I'm most pleased with. And then the limiter is doing exactly what it says, and so I'm only pushing a dB right now, but I've had to take the output down because otherwise it goes to minus 0.1 dB and can then end up clipping the master bus when you make MP3s and that kind of stuff, which I don't really like. So yeah, sounds huge. Not going to be the longest video that I ever make, but it's kind of an important one because this is probably going to end up on all of my master buses. Let's open something in a different tab and just play around with... Let's use Scar is Dead from Joel Boone. That's an album that I mixed recently. And that was going through my usual bus processing of Shadow Hills Class 8 mastering, compressor, the Black Box HG2, and Flatline. Pretty sure that's the case anyway, and we'll soon find out. Looks like there is also an EQ in here with some high frequency boost. And so I might leave that EQ on because that's already kind of done, but I'm going to turn off. There's no Shadow Hills on this one, so I'm going to add in God Particle, and also there's Adapters Metric AB, which is a measurement plugin and doesn't change the sound. So I'm going to take my usual stuff, turn it off. Let's see how this sounded before. And now the God Particle. I think, honestly, I do prefer the older processing on this, but I think that's because I spent days and days really honing this in, getting it really finely tuned. Let's get one of the more busy songs like Chimes. Right, so it looks like I need to keep the Better Maker EQ on because I've been mixing through this. So for comparisons, I'm going to leave that on. I might prefer this. I'm going to do a render of this now and send that to Joel, see if it's too late for submission. And it might not be. It might be that we now get an improved master of the album because the God Particle is so impressive. So there you go. Check it out from cradle.app is the website. Thanks to the guys at Produce Like a Pro for getting the guys in contact with me and sorting all this out. Thanks to the guys at Cradle for making this happen, because it's really quite impressive. And thank you, everybody, for watching. So, yeah, go get the Cradle God Particle if it's something that tickles your fancy, because I think it's going to work for me. So there you go, the God Particle. I hope you found that interesting. I'll probably be using it on mixes in the future because it seems really cool and might just replace some of my other processing things. So stick around for that in the future. Stick around as well for the Mix React videos, where every week we break down some classic mixes and see what's going on inside them. There's the long form podcasts. There's all sorts of technical videos where we talk about, recently we're using Steam Decks and MacBooks for audio production. There's so much going on, it's crazy. So stick around, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and thanks everybody for watching, especially the patrons on Patreon. You helped to make this possible. So thank you everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.